It's been a while, hasn't it? The last time I uploaded, Doom Eternal stood as the latest chapter in the saga, but now a new age is upon us. Doom the Dark Ages, set against the backdrop of the unholy Crusades. This upcoming installment holds the promise of diving deeper into the lore we've been piecing together for years. With its release just around the corner, dropping in May, now feels like the perfect time to examine the series' hidden mysteries, revisit unanswered questions, and connect the dots in Doom's ever-expanding mythology. Will Doom's latest installment finally reveal the truth behind these dark secrets? Or will it leave us with even more to uncover? With that said, let's rip and tear. Before I talk about the latest trailer and gameplay footage, there is something I want to cover first. An odd pattern within the lore of Doom Eternal, one that's hard to ignore. Where pieces of the narrative seem to surface, vanish, and resurface. One example lies in a simple torn photograph found in the Doomslayer's quarters aboard the Fortress of Doom. At first glance, it's unassuming. A family, husband, wife, and child. But look closer and you'll see the husband has been torn from the picture entirely. Many have already deduced that this may be the Doomslayer himself, which does seem likely. However, in my opinion, the most interesting thing about this picture is not the picture itself, but rather the lack of it. You see, this picture was originally present in early versions of Doom Eternal, however the photograph mysteriously vanished in later updates, only to reappear once again in the latest version. A quick look at some Reddit boards have noticed this pattern, which has puzzled many. Odd, but this isn't the first time where something like this happened. Another example lies with the Dark Lord, or rather his voice. When Doom Eternal first launched, players witnessed the Doomslayer's triumph over the Khan Maker, only to be greeted by a voice seething with anger. According to the original subtitles, this voice was attributed to none other than the Dark Lord himself. For a time, this seemed definitive, with the connection remaining intact for months. But then everything changed, following the release of the Ancient Gods Part 1 update. The voice's identity was altered in the subtitles, now labeled as the Mysterious Voice. According to id Software, the original attribution to the Dark Lord was a mistake.
For just a simple, honest mistake.
Yet the delay in making this change raises some questions. For example, even when the Super Gore Nest Master Level update went live, the Dark Lord's voice as a subtitle stayed intact. Adding to the confusion, Hugo Martin, the game's director, publicly claimed to have no knowledge of this mysterious voice's true identity.
I've never lied to you before, I wouldn't start now. The mysterious voice was a mysterious voice. If I wanted it to be the Dark Lord, it would have been the Dark Lord at launch.
Yet, in a Facebook post, he released information contradicting that prior statement, revealing he does know who the voice belongs to. The inconsistency has left fans, including myself, scratching their heads, wondering if this is intentional misdirection or just simply a case of shifting creative direction. So, what's the truth behind this strange change? With Doom the Dark Ages on the horizon, I'm wondering if these potential retcons have something to do with the upcoming game. Which brings us to these 3 statues. The concept art I'm sharing with you comes from Doom Eternal and depicts 3 enigmatic figures, one in blue, purple, and red. The blue statue represents the Maker Angels, high-ranking entities of the Maker race. In the Ancient Gods DLC, these once divine beings met a grim fate, transformed into the corrupted Blood Angels following the Icon of Sin's rampage. But the other 2 statues, the one in purple and red, remain unknown. The purple entity may hold new significance, however. In the recent trailer for Doom the Dark Ages, we catch a glimpse of the same statue, seemingly tied to an upgrade or lore revelation for the Slayer. And given that these statues have been present since as far back as Doom 2016, it's reasonable to theorize a connection between this entity and the Makers or Sentinels. A compelling clue lies in the figure's design. Halos encircle its back, a trait shared with the Maker Angels. Also, there is another intriguing detail. Hidden in the multiplayer maps of Doom 2016, the same statue appears. But in its hands, it cradles what appears to be a portal. To where we can only speculate, I couldn't really discern what lies on the other side. Perhaps someone watching this can capture a clearer view and shed some light on this mystery. But in brief, it is likely that with Doom: The Dark Ages release, we can learn more about this cryptic figure. Yet, among these enigmatic statues, one figure stands out above the rest. The entity depicted in the red statue. To me, this figure is the most fascinating mystery of them all, since this entity may very well be the original wielder of the demonic Crucible. What's even more intriguing is that there are two distinct versions of the statue. In one, the entity is shown holding the demonic Crucible. In the other, the Crucible is mysteriously absent. Could this discrepancy be more than a simple artistic variation? It's possible that this subtle detail hints at a deeper story, that the demonic Crucible may have originally belonged to this being, only to be lost or taken under mysterious circumstances. The weapon's first appearance lay in the necropolis, hidden in hell and fiercely held by the Hell Guards. How and why the Crucible ended up there remains a question, but during the events of Doom 2016, it has been noted that this demonic artifact has the ability to manipulate Argent energy. Back to the red entity. His origins are entirely unknown. Is he demonic in nature, tied somehow to the Dark Lord, or could he share some connection to the Makers, an outlier among their ranks? It's difficult to say at this point, but his imposing presence and the symbolism surrounding him demand attention. When the Ancient Gods expansions were yet to have been released, I initially speculated that this might be the Dark Lord himself. Yet as the story unfolded, it became clear that this figure is someone or something else entirely. The red figure's design stands apart from the other two statues, hinting at another fascinating detail worth exploring: the potential link between this enigmatic figure and the Wraiths. At the conclusion of Doom 2016, the Slayer wielded the demonic Crucible to free the Wraiths, otherworldly entities from an unknown realm who had made their home in Argent Denor. These beings were the source of Argent energy itself, the lifeblood of both the Sentinel world and Hell's unholy power. Given the Crucible's connection to Argent energy, and by extension Wraith energy, it's worth questioning whether the entity in this red statue shares some deeper bond with these ancient beings. A closer look at the design reveals striking parallels. The Wraiths, like the figure in the red statue, exhibit similar features: horn structures, eyeless visages, and unsettlingly alien forms. Could the red statue represent a being who held some sort of a connection between the Wraiths and the Sentinels? The mystery deepens when we turn to the ancient city of Habath, buried deep beneath the surface of Mars. Among its ruins, the same statue appears, their presence looming over the forgotten halls. Even more compelling are the depictions of the demonic Crucible found throughout Sentinel architecture. One of the most striking examples is a stained glass image that shows a Sentinel warrior wielding the Crucible in a pose eerily similar to the entity in the red statue. Is this a coincidence, or does it suggest a deeper connection? Was the red figure a wielder of the demonic Crucible, a protector of the Wraiths, or something far more sinister? Perhaps he played a pivotal role in the ancient struggles between the Sentinels, the Wraiths, and Hell itself. But I'm afraid that is all conjecture. However, there is another lore point to consider: the voice prophecies. Doom 2016 is renowned for its hidden layers of lore, but perhaps one of its most intriguing secrets lies in the Kendinger Sanctum. Within this hellish landscape, players can uncover a cryptic prophecy, whispered from within the twisted roots of a tree. This hidden voice prophecy states, This line alone opens the door to interesting possibilities, especially when considering the red statue entity who may have been the Crucible's original wielder, with potential ties to the Wraiths and their eldritch power. Could this figure also be connected to the prophecy's mention of a dark priest destined to be consumed by the Crucible? The question of the Dark Priest's identity looms large. Who was this enigmatic figure? The recent Doom the Dark Ages trailer adds fuel to this mystery, introducing a new villain who bears a striking resemblance to the entity depicted in the red statue. Could this be the Dark Priest foretold in the prophecy, or is he somehow connected with the entity found in the statue? The trailer hints at a greater role for this villain, perhaps as a key figure in the demonic rituals that have shaped both Hell and the Sentinels. Is it possible that this Dark Priest is not only tied to the Crucible, but also to the creation or corruption of Argent energy itself? His resemblance to the red statue raises even more questions. Lastly, we turn to one of the most intriguing and cryptic elements tied to the Crucible, its association with the Sephiro. In Sentinel iconography, the demonic Crucible appears prominently within depictions of the Sephiro, a symbol steeped in both mysticism and potential meaning for Doom's universe. But what is the Sephiro? Originating in real-world Kabbalistic tradition, the Sephiro represents a diagram of 10 interconnected spheres, often referred to as the Tree of Life. These spheres symbolize the flow of divine energy, the structure of existence, and the connection between realms, physical, spiritual, and metaphysical. In the context of Doom, the use of this imagery could signify the Crucible's unparalleled power as it relates to Hell. The prophecy states that the demonic Crucible has the power to destroy all realms. Within the Sentinel depictions of the Sephiro, the Crucible seems to take center stage, hinting at its role as a weapon capable of annihilating the interconnected planes of existence. Could this mean the Crucible's true purpose is not limited to destruction within Hell or Argent Anor, but extends to unraveling the very structure of reality itself? The association of the Crucible and the Sephiro raises compelling questions. If the Sephiro represents the balance of realms, the Crucible's placement within this symbol may suggest it is not merely a weapon of destruction, but a force of cosmic consequence. Could the Crucible's power disrupt the flow of energy between realms, severing connections or collapsing entire planes of existence? Alternatively, its connection to the Sephiro could imply a higher purpose, a key to understanding or restoring balance. After all, the Crucible seems to be a paradoxical object, possibly wielded for destruction, but also tied to freeing of the Wraiths, whose energy was foundational to Argent Anor. Could it be that the Crucible was designed not only to punish, but also to preserve balance between realms, its immense power misunderstood and misused over time? Back to the voice prophecies. While the tree prophecy in Doom 2016 is one of the most discussed mysteries, it is not the only cryptic message hidden within the game. In fact, there is another prophecy, one that often flies under the radar of most. The voice prophecy found at the end of the Vega level, which states, This prophecy is intriguing not just for its cryptic content, but for its consistent use of familial terms such as father and mother. Within Doom lore, these titles carry significant weight considering what we know. For example, Devoth, the Dark Lord, was eventually revealed as the Father, the Primeval, the creator and overseer of the Doom universe before his fall from grace. On the other hand, the Khan Maker is frequently referenced as the High Mother. But what if this prophecy hints at a family beyond what we've already uncovered? Enter the Mother Demon, the final boss of Doom 64. While the lore surrounding her remains sparse, the Lost Levels expansion introduces another interesting figure, the Sister Resurrector. Could these figures tied to the demonic hierarchy hint at a familial connection among Hell's most powerful beings? I'm not entirely sure, but Doom 64 does share another potential hint. Remember the concept art displaying these three statues. Notice their colors. Now, do they seem familiar? Within Doom 64, you encounter the demonic keys, artifacts found in order to power the Unmaker. Note how the colors for each of the keys seem to match with the colors found in the statues. Now, is there some sort of a connection here? I'm not sure, but I thought it would be prudent to share this. Back to the Vega prophecy. Its use of familial terms could also suggest a deeper allegory, one that speaks to the interconnectedness of creation and destruction in the Doom universe. The father and mother may symbolize primordial forces, while the brother and sister represent the outcomes of their eternal conflict, entities born of their struggle. For now, this is all speculation, but the connections are hard to ignore. What do you think? Who truly embodies the roles of father, mother, brother, and sister in this prophecy? And more importantly, will the Dark Ages shed light on this tangled web of relationships, or leave us with even more questions to unravel? In the new trailer, we are introduced to what appear to be new villains, figures like the Dark Priest and the towering demonic giant. But what if these figures aren't entirely new? What if their origins lie in the unexplored corners of Doom's lore? Consider the lore buried within the Doom Eternal art book. Among its many secrets lie mention of the primordial Black Heart, a sinister entity said to have spawned the first demons. Alongside this, we learn of the Archdemons, powerful beings who served as lieutenants to the Dark Lord himself. Yet despite their implied significance, the Archdemons are curiously absent during the events of Doom Eternal. Could their absence mean that the Slayer had already dealt with them before the events of the game? And what role would these archdemons play in the Dark Ages? As the Dark Ages shifts to a more medieval hellish tone, it's possible that the archdemons may take a place as major villains. But what do you guys think? Could the Dark Priest and the giant demon seen in the trailer be associated with these long-awaited archdemons? Or do they have something to do with the demonic Crucible prophecy? Or is there something else going on? Feel free to comment below. Doom as a series is something I hold very dear to my heart. It represents agency in the face of impossible odds, the unrelenting drive to overcome even the most brutal and merciless challenges we all have to endure. In a world that often feels unforgiving, Doom reminds us that if we can endure, if we can fight through the rage and chaos, we won't just survive, we'll emerge stronger, fiercer, and that the world may be rage, brutal, without mercy. If we overcome it, we will be worse. And with Doom the Dark Ages on the horizon, I feel that anticipation building once again. And with that, wow, it's been years since the last upload. First off, I want to apologize to all the viewers that keep up with Night Owl. To tell you the truth, I've been going through some challenges in life that kept me away from this channel. But lately, I found the means and resolve to come back here and give this channel another shot. I want to be more consistent at this, and you can definitely expect more videos in the near future. With that said, I gotta get back to work, and have a damn good one.